Hello children, this is Sr.Kg again with a new lesson. The topic of the lesson is Some Apples Please. This is a very inspiring story of an old lady. Okay, and as the author's name is not given in the chapter, we don't know who is the author of the chapter. Before I start with the explanation, let me give you a small introduction of the chapter. This is a story of an old lady who wanted to eat apple pie, but she did not had apples in her house, and she plans to go to the market and exchange the plums to get apple in exchange so that she can make an apple pie and she can eat it. So let's see in the explanation what she does and whom she meets on the way of getting the apples. Okay, so let's start. Let's start with the small introduction given on the top of the chapter. There is an old saying, where there is a will, there is a way. If you really want something and work hard for it, you will get it. And read this retelling of an English folk tale to show how a woman gets what she wants by being kind and helpful. Okay children, in English there is a proverb, where there is a will, there is a way. That means if you want something and if you work hard for it, nobody can stop you from getting it. But you should be very much firm that you want that thing. Okay, here this is the Some Apple Please is a story of an old lady who was very kind and helpful and wanted to eat an apple pie. So here we will start with the explanation. Okay, let's start. This happened a long time ago in England. There was an old woman who lived in a small cottage in a village. One day she wanted to eat an apple pie. The more she thought about it, the more she wanted to eat an apple pie made of juicy apples. Okay, let me explain. Children, this is a story of England, and this is a story of an old lady who used to live in a small cottage in a village. One day she felt like eating apple pie, and that too made out of juicy apples, red apples. Okay, and the more she was thinking of eating apple pie, her mouth was watering more and she was feeling more desperate to eat it. But she had no apples, as she had a pear tree full of ripe yellow pears and plums tree full of juicy red plums. But how can one make an apple pie with pears and plums? And the old lady longed for an apple pie. Okay, she wanted to eat apple pie, but she did not have apples at home. In her courtyard, she had an pear tree and plum tree. There was lots of pears on the tree and the red plums on the plum tree. And how she can make apple pie out of pear and plums? She cannot make it, na? So she thought that, but she was willing to eat that. She had just decided that she want to eat an apple pie. I know what to do. I will take some of my plums to the market and get apple in exchange for them, she said to herself. And as I told you, she wanted to eat apple pie, and she had already decided that anyhow I am going to eat apple pie. And she said to herself that I know how I am going to get the apples. I'll do one thing. I'll take some plums to the market and I will exchange it with someone who want plums, and I will take apples in exchange, and when I will get the apples in exchange, I can make apple pie and I can eat it. So she set off with plums in the basket on her arm. She plucked some plums from the tree, she kept it in her basket, and she started her journey towards the market. As she walked along, she heard a lot of cracking and quacking. She peeped over the hedge and saw the young woman trying to herd a flock of hens, duck and geese. The young woman looked up. Okay, as she was going to the market, on the way she heard some sound of some birds who were cracking and quacking. There was a compound wall. She just looked peeped through that compound wall. Peeped means she looked through that compound wall and she found a young lady who was feeding the hens, duck and geese. And when the lady was peeping, the young lady also saw the old lady peeping in the... So children, this is all for today. Tomorrow we will see with excitement what happened to the old lady, how she got the apple pie. So till then, goodbye.